A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Take the worry out of Wi-Fi with managed Wi-Fi from Troy Cable. Say goodbye to dead zones. Automatically update outdated technology. Get the most of your signal with specialized access points. With worry-free Wi-Fi from Troy Cable, you can enjoy a full-strength signal reaching every corner of your home. Think fast. Think friendly. Think Troy Cable.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Good News and Interviews with Forrest Lee. Our show will run on Monday nights between 7 and 8 o'clock, and the replays will be on Wednesday night after church between 8 and 9 o'clock. And my goal is that this show is honorable to our Lord and our families and our friends and our community. I hope it's honorable to the Troy Cable family. I'd like to thank Troy Cable, Steve Kemp, and Dustin Gilley for their leadership and their helpfulness to get this show started. And the first thing I'd like to do is to thank all of my sponsors. And I'd like to thank Troy Bank and Trust Company. I've been part of that company for 44 years. My first loan was with Frank McClure, and I financed a 1971 LTD for $800 back in 1977, I believe it was. Also, Troy Paint and Body. The owners are Dawn and Derek Broadway, and their dad, Donnie, and I go way back. He passed away a few months ago, but Donnie is originally from Luverne, Alabama, and my uncle J.W. Norsworthy helped Donnie get started in the business of Troy Paint and Body, and I'd like to thank them. Also would like to thank Chimney Hot Sauces. I've got a fraternity brother named Ryan Darty. He has 3 sauces that he has developed: the Chimney Ghost Hot Sauce, the Chimney Jalapeno Hot Sauce, and the original Chimney Rock Hot Sauce. It's made with smoked habaneros. You can go to www.chimneysauce.com, shake it well, and enjoy. Take the leap with one of these 3 types of sauces. And he has a sister who lives in Troy, and her name is Diana Lee, and she has triplets. So if you will, visit their website and order you some of this hot sauce. You will love it. I also would like to thank Pike Farmers Co-op. They have store locations in Goshen, Alabama, my hometown, Troy, Alabama. Years ago, when I was about 16, I worked for Mike Pork Chop Thomas. And I want to thank Danny Durrell, the Goshen, he's the manager over the co-op, along with his assistant Jeffrey Barron, who runs the store here in Troy. Of course, the Alabama Army National Guard. I was in the Guard for about 21 years. Our recruiters, Sergeant Brandon Walker is nearby, and Staff Sergeant Kaylee Hott. And that's a good profession for young people to think about as far as joining the Alabama Guard. So reach out to them and hear what they have to say. I also would like to thank Jason Gregory, the owner of Premier Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Troy, Alabama. They have a great selection of cars to choose from. I also would like to thank Douglas Brothers and Sheer Qualls. They've been on the square, or they've been part of Troy and Pike County for 150 years. You see their cup here. And today I received my wedding band, and there's a story behind that. When Jody and I got married 31 years ago this July, I received a family heirloom. Well, it won't quite fit, and that type of metal cannot be expanded to size my bigger fingers. So today, about an hour ago, Jody opened up a present for both of us, and it was a new wedding band from Douglas Brothers, located on the square in Troy. I'd like to thank Shear and his staff. Also, Bird's Drugs, great place to eat. I'd like to thank Joe Watson and his staff. Whaley Pecans, Mr. Bob and Miss Mary Whaley, great place to have. They have a variety of things that you can buy, candies, pecans. You can send it as a gift. My daughter is a sponsor, Abby Lee Photography. Lenny Trawick, he gives guitar lessons there on the square, along with he gives them at Flat Tops and Fiddles. The owner is Donald Brown and his wife. All that's located on the square. Also, Home Gallery, David and Sherry Helms. I want to thank them for their sponsorship. I've known David for a long time. My first teaching and coaching gig was in Goshen, Alabama. He was the head coach, and we were able to start the junior high program there years ago. Of course, the Brundage Country Club, a great place to play golf. I worked there part-time. I would really love to thank Jennifer at Sticky Frogs. If you see a truck rolling around town with a bunch of signs on it, they're my sponsors. You're going to see my face. It says Good News and Interviews with Forrest Lee. She made those stickers for me and put them on, and I want to thank her and her staff for that. Also, Bryant Smith with State Farm Insurance. I've been with State Farm for many, many years. Also, Piggly Wiggly, Steve and Jennifer Garrett, located on 3 Knott Street and on the bypass. Their oldest daughter and our daughter was born about the same time, and we were in Lamont's class together in Montgomery. Also, one of my favorite places to eat, the Chicken Shack of Luverne, Alabama, the Money Boys, Mike and Drew. You can call 334-6566, the Chicken Shack. And also Billy and Kevin Flowers. They own Flowers Realty. Put flowers in your yard. And before we get started, too, I would like to mention what a celebration of life it will be for Mr. Sidney Glenn Daniel. Coach Daniel, he was a coach in Alabama for over 46 years, Luverne for 38. He was a member of the Luverne Church of Christ. He was a great impact on the students that he taught, the community he served, the kids that he taught in Sunday school, the players. He was very impactful for that community, and he has a wonderful legacy throughout the country of his children and grandchildren and such. His visitation will be tomorrow from 5 until 8 o'clock at the Luverne Church of Christ, and his memorial service will be on the campus of Luverne High School at Glenn Daniel Stadium at 4:30 on Wednesday. He was 95 years old, and he was and his wife were married for 62 years. Her name, if you got a person of that kind of impact, you've got a wonderful wife, and Miss Gladys is his wife, and what a wonderful celebration that's going on. He lost a son, Sidney Glenn Daniel Jr., years ago, and he's lost 2 granddaughters, Jill and Julie Daniel, a grandson-in-law, Kirk Stevens, and he's got 3 beautiful daughters, Diane, Becky, and Deborah, and a daughter-in-law, Celia, 11 grandchildren, and the family request that if you would like to make any kind of donations, you could do that to the Luverne Athletic Club or to the Luverne Church of Christ. And so great honor to mention Glenn Daniel on this set. And with that said, our first guest is Dr. David Runyon. Thank you, Dr. Runyon, for being on the show. And if you will, tell us about your upbringing.
My upbringing. Well, I'd like to thank you very much, Mr. Forrest Lee, for having me here, and I'm quite honored to be your first. Very surprised. Must be scraping the bottom of the barrel or something. I don't know.
I got that idea from Joel Lee Williams.
He's
you
a good
spoke
man.
At the Kiwanis Club. And
I did.
I happened to see him downtown one day. He said, I got a great person that you could have on your show. And
we had a good time talking about COVID and our illnesses. So, well, I'm David Runyon. I'm born and raised in San Jose, California, about an hour south of San Francisco. I went to high school at Cupertino High School and spent 4 years there. And then afterwards, I went to University of California at Davis, which is right near Sacramento. And it only took me 5 years to get a 4-year degree. Of course, I did take some time off and did some research in Washington, D.C. at the NIH during all that time. But I got my degree in physiology. I worked a year in San Francisco at the Presidio as a civilian contractor and got quite a bit of research done. And working for the Army, got published in several medical journals, gave a couple oral presentations, including in Europe, in Salzburg. So I thought that was rather wonderful. And then I was accepted at George Washington University School of Medicine in 1989, 1990.
Where's that located?
That's in Washington, D.C.
George Washington
University.
University. It's where you got your medical degree.
That's where I got my medical degree. Not to be confused with Georgetown. They're down the road. And
yeah, remember the first president, George Washington.
George Washington University.
And one thing I'd like to say, audience, later on in the show, you're going to have an opportunity to win a prize. So listen carefully. Go ahead, Dr. Runyon. I'm sorry.
After medical school, I moved back to California, this time Northern California, in a town called Redding, where I did my residency in family practice, spent 3 years there, got my family practice certificate and license. I worked at a community health center, Shasta Community Health Center, for about 7 years before moving here to Troy, Alabama. And my wife and I met in the emergency room. She was an ER nurse and I was a lowly resident. And we just had a great time ever since, and subsequently ended up moving here. She has, her parents are she's originally from Florella, and she has a lot of family in Lower Georgia, Thomasville area. So we would come by and visit them pretty regular.
What's her maiden name, Dr. Runyon?
Lloyd.
Lloyd.
Yeah, she still goes by Lloyd.
Lloyd, okay.
Because of licensing, because she's an RN now, a nurse practitioner as well, and getting names changed on legal documents like that is a lot of doing, a lot of money, a lot of effort, and usually they get it wrong. So we just said, no, we're just going to keep our original names and go with that. She goes by Mrs. Runyon, but she's Miss Lloyd. So, and she's quick to correct you. She is not Dr. Lloyd, even though people call her that. She's working at Troy Emergency Room, actually. She's on tonight. So, and then, let's see. So I've been here in Troy going on 17 years.
Okay.
So 2004 is when I started working at Southeast Alabama Rural Health Associates.
Okay.
Family practice, working with Ben Smith, Robert Gillum, several other docs.
Yes, sir.
So
you've been here for about 17 years.
Coming on 17 this May.
What are some of your hobbies? What do you do in your spare time?
In all my spare time.
Okay.
Well, a few years back, I got the Miracle League going, and that was a lot of fun. That hasn't been as active, especially with the pandemic going on. I've also been very involved in the Boy Scouts. Been Scoutmaster for Troop 41 for, I think, about 10 or 11 years now. My son went through Cub Scouts and then Boy Scouts, and he is an Eagle. He's 23 now, but he got his Eagle at when he turned 18. And so I'm involved with that. We still go on hikes. We actually went to Cheeha about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and High Falls Trail, and did a hike on that.
And tell the audience where that's located, if you will.
Cheeha, that is near Talladega National Forest,
Okay.
so about 3.5 hours north of here.
That's the largest, highest elevation in Alabama.
Yes, it is, and
right.
been up there several times. My boys are rather proud to march up to that CCC tower and stand up there and on the lookout and say, I'm the tallest scout in Alabama. You are until Jaron comes up, because he's the tallest kid. So, but yeah, so we're still doing that. Actually, this past weekend, Saturday, we put together a chicken coop for one of my boys' Eagle project. And Tuesday, another boy is going to be he's built some boxes. We're going to be painting them for the Franklin baseball fields to put sort of the helmets and everything.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Great.
so, yeah. We
So
got some
how
good
many
projects.
scouts do y'all have, Dr. Runyon?
We're a small troop. We have about 7 or 8 scouts that are active. I still have several in the area that come by and visit and help out periodically. So,
Now, what can a person do if they want to join the Cub Scouts or the Boy Scouts? How does that work?
Well, I'm more involved in the Boy Scouts. So my boys, I started age 11 through 18, and basically you just come to one of our meetings. We meet every Monday except on holidays at 6:30 at First United Methodist Church at the downstairs fellowship hall. Yes, we're meeting right now. One of my parents is doing the cyber chip with them today, so I'm just extraneous and talk too much, so they like me out of the way. So they're doing cyber chip training and getting recertified in that today.
Okay. Any other hobbies that you have? Did I hear you talking about cows earlier? Or?
I have about 35 acres, and we needed to do something with it, so I just got a small herd, about 5 mama cows right now. I was up to 13 at one point. But I have 5 calves that are going to market tomorrow morning, and they're ever so excited. But the moms they've been belly aching a little while, so, but they're about 5-6 months of age, so it's time for them to go.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break here in a minute, then we're going to talk a little bit about COVID. I'd like to thank again our sponsors, Troy Bank and Trust Company, Troy Paint and Body, Chimney Hot Sauces. Also like to thank Pike Farmers Co-op, the Alabama Army National Guard, and Premier Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Troy, Alabama. And we'll be back after a short break.
This is Barney at Premier Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, and I'm here to nip this sale in the bud.
Hello, folks. This is Greg Anthony, sales manager at Premier Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Troy, Alabama, offering discounts up to $15,000.
Let's nip that.
0% financing up to 72 months.
We gotta nip that.
Barney, $5,000 over Kelly Blue Book for your trade-in.
You're killing the competition.
Barney!
If you've had an accident or just want a new look for your vehicle, come see us at Troy Paint and Body, where we do it right the first time. Our staff has more than 100 years combined experience and can handle repairs and paint work on any make or model. We also offer a lifetime guarantee as long as you own your vehicle. Now that shows we stand behind our work. And our 24-hour towing service means we're here when you need us. So come see us at Troy Paint and Body, located on South Brundage Street in Troy beside the post office. Troy Paint and Body, where we may meet by accident, but you'll be glad we did.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Take the worry out of Wi-Fi with managed Wi-Fi from Troy Cable. Say goodbye to dead zones. Automatically update outdated technology. Get the most of your signal with specialized access points. With worry-free Wi-Fi from Troy Cable, you can enjoy a full-strength signal reaching every corner of your home. Think fast. Think friendly. Think Troy Cable.
Hey, part of my show is laughter and humor, so that's okay. Well, welcome back to our show. This is Good News and Interviews with Forrest Lee, and my guest tonight is Dr. David Runyon. But again, I'd like to thank Douglas Brothers Jewelers. They're located on the square, along with Bird's Drugs. I kind of like to eat breakfast there in the morning from time to time. Whaley Pecans, Abby Lee Photography, Lenny Trawick, the guitar. He'll teach you how to play the guitar and other instruments, and flat tops and fiddles. The owner's Don Brown. Also Home Gallery, located just off the square. Their owners are Sherry and David Hams. Dr. Runyon, earlier in the show, you said that you were originally from San Jose, California, and a graduate on the East Coast of George Washington University. As far as that's where you received your medical degree. Dr. Runyon, if you will you explain your path with COVID?
COVID is fun to not get. Do not put it on your bucket list. You hear all the news about, and I'd like to thank you again for having me on. And before I get too much into it, I did get pretty sick, and I've had an overwhelming amount of support and prayers and blessings and thank yous and help. And I really appreciate the Troy community and all my patients and a lot of people who aren't my patients, because I know that your prayers were heard and they helped a lot. So I personally want to thank each and every one of you very much. Anyways, my COVID experience started just before Christmas. About Tuesday or Wednesday, I started getting a little sick. I just thought it was my allergies, more of a runny nose, because I get wintertime allergies, and a little more coughing. And then Wednesday evening, Thursday, Christmas Eve, I just wasn't feeling good. So I went into the clinic and got tested for COVID and tested positive. And I was figuring, just like the vast majority of people that got COVID, that I'd get a little bit sick and then bounce back after a week or so. Well, about 4 or 5 days later, I was having a hard time moving, not getting around, coughing a lot. And my wife, she contacted Dr. Rick Gill and said, Dave's not doing so good. And so he arranged for me to be brought into the ICU at the Troy Hospital, where they put me in. And my oxygen levels were a little low and down in the high 80s, 86, 87%. And they started me on oxygen and gave me some medicine for COVID. And at first I did pretty good. And then I just had the spiral death dive. My oxygen levels tanked. They put me on what's called a non-rebreather mask, 15 liters, which is full bore. And even with that, my oxygen levels were very low. So they ended up intubating me. And so I was intubated on New Year's Eve. So I did spend Christmas at home, but New Year's Eve I was breathing on a machine. And most of this is now hearsay, because obviously I don't remember this, because I was on a load of medications. Apparently I'm not a real good patient. I glared at everybody while I was being put under. Nothing I want to ever do again. But I was on a breathing machine, and Dr. Gill contacted multiple hospitals within our region, and no one had any beds available, because this is at the height of the COVID pandemic in our area. Montgomery, Dothan, Birmingham, Tallahassee, Mobile, Vanderbilt, I think, was on the list. No one had any beds available. He went back and Mobile actually called him back, and they had a bed available. So I was transported in the brand new year, early morning hours of January 1, by ambulance down to Mobile Infirmary. There was a big storm, so no airplanes were flying, no helicopters were flying that day. And so I was transported to Mobile, got there, and I was on a breathing machine until January the 9th, at which time I was extubated. And they told me only a couple hundred times where I was and what had happened before it finally registered. And even then I was still in disbelief. I thought I was drugged up and it was a conspiracy against me. But then, oh, thank you very much. A lot of talking drives me out.
When you say extubated, that means it was removed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because with the breathing tube and endotracheal tube, they put it down into your lung, and you're on a breathing machine, and it literally breathes for you about 20 times a minute. And then, when you're on the machine, on the breathing machine, they try to see if you're ready to come off the machine, because they're monitoring everything, all the labs, all the oxygen levels, your breathing rate, your blood pressure, your heart rate, oxygen levels, and they wean you down off the medications to allow you to wake up a little bit, because no one likes having a tube in their throat. And they would lighten you up, and they see how you're breathing, see if you're maintaining oxygen levels. And finally, and they did that numerous times, from the 3rd through the 9th at least. But every day they would lighten me up, and see how I would do. And when I didn't do well, they put me down under again, so I was a little deeper on the medicines for sedation. And finally on the 9th, they lightened me up, and I was able to breathe on my own. They lightened me up even more, and then they pulled the tube out. And I remember absolutely none of that, thankfully. I've seen that done. I've done that myself several times. And I'm just glad not to have that memory. But then I did actually quite well after that. And it's amazing how much strength you lose after being on a breathing machine for 10 days. My cell phone was on the table next to me. I couldn't pick it up. It was too heavy.
Wow.
I could not pick this thing up. And it wasn't until the next day that I was able to figure out how to unlock my phone because of all the confusion from the COVID, confusion from the medications. It was hard. And I was finally able to open my phone, and I called my wife, and she almost cried, or she was crying, because she has her ringtone set to me. And when she got that, she said, "Oh, I've been waiting for that phone call for so long." And she was just in tears because she was sick as well. I mean,
Yes.
she was hospitalized here in Troy. Mine was purely respiratory. I did not lose smell. I didn't have much of a fever. I didn't have a headache. I had no energy, and I couldn't breathe. Hers was all GI, so she lost her appetite. She was actually hospitalized twice, once for just fluids, and the second time was for medications for the COVID. And she's still struggling with strength, and fatigue's real easy. Her taste finally came back. It took about a month and a half for her to get her taste back.
So, Dr. Runyon, how long were you actually in Mobile? Were you sent back home after you were dismissed out there?
I was. So I was extubated on the 9th, and I was actually discharged on the 15th.
Okay.
It was hard to walk. It took me a couple days, but I could finally walk for about 100 to 200 feet with minimal help. I was using a cane and did pretty good on that. When I got home, coming up 3 steps was a challenge. I had a real hard time coming up 3 steps.
So, when were you able to go back to work at the Sabre Clinic?
I had some friends. We had a lot of friends, like I said, and thank you very much again. People were coming over and helping out at the house, bringing food. I had a good neighbor who was taking care of my cows. I went back to work about a month later, on February the 15th. I returned to work. I did go to Health Actions Rehab, physical therapy, and they work you there. Let me tell you, they did very well. And I pushed it. They pushed me, and I built strength back. And it took about a month before I was able to really walk and be confident that I wasn't going to fall down.
So your advice to the public as it relates to the COVID shots is?
Don't get COVID. Do everything you can to not get this. You know, the mortality rate is about 4%. It's not very high. But the older you are, the more diseases you have, that mortality rate goes up to 20-25%. So don't get this. I don't have any risk factors. I'm fat. That's my only risk factor, and I almost died from this. So I'm encouraging everybody, get these vaccines. Right now in the United States, there's 3 to choose from. We have the Moderna, the Pfizer, and the Johnson & Johnson. It doesn't matter which one you get. They all do a good job. They're all very well tolerated. Then they work. We're seeing significant decline in hospitalization. We're seeing a significant decline in people dying from COVID, especially the older people.
Yes, sir.
They're doing much better. We're not burying our moms and dads and grandparents nearly as much as we were 2 months ago. So I want everyone to get a vaccine. And with that in mind, Bird's Drug was one of the first ones in our community to get the vaccine. They still have them. The hospital is doing vaccines, Sarah Clinic, Dalton Pharmacy, down in Brundage, the Pike Pharmacy down there. The Sportsplex is actually having a COVID drive-through clinic this Thursday from 9 to 5. So contact the rec department, find out more information. You can probably go on the website to find out about the Sportsplex to get their COVID vaccine.
Yes, sir. I had a regular checkup with you a little over right at 2 weeks ago, and through your advice, I went downstairs and talked to the people at the pharmacy, at the Dalton Pharmacy Clinic, and they scheduled me for the very next week. And my wife Jody and I received our Johnson & Johnson vaccine last Tuesday.
Yeah.
And just the next day I was just a little bit lethargic, but other than that, it was no problems at all.
Yeah.
And,
again, people are doing well. The first shot on the Moderna and the Pfizer, they're 2-shot series, about 3 to 4 weeks apart. The first shot, you're going to get a sore shoulder. The second shot, you're also going to get a sore shoulder. The first shot, most people do very well with that. If you've had COVID, you may get a little sick with it. Muscle aches, headaches, some chills, fatigue, just no energy. With the second shot, you're going to have more of the same with that. I, too, got the Johnson & Johnson. I waited 90 days, like what was recommended, and then I got my vaccine. And the next day, I had the sore shoulder, a little bit of muscle aches, fatigue, just wasn't feeling real energized. But I went out and did things. I did some weeding and mowed a little bit. Took quite a few breaks and drank a lot of water, a lot of tea. And but by Sunday I was doing a whole lot better and felt pretty good. Sore arm lasted for about 4 or 5 days. I too got the Johnson & Johnson because that's what was available at the time. Also I figured I was going to get a little more sick because I did get pretty sick with COVID, and I had the antibodies, and it's the antibodies that get you sick. It's not the vaccine. It's your immune response. You're responding to the vaccine. Your immune system is working. If you get sick, that's a good thing. Many people don't get that sick. That's fine. It's not a problem. You're still getting antibodies. And that's what's going to get us out. That's what's going to get us away from my duckbill, my mask, is when everybody gets vaccinated, we're going to be a whole lot better off.
well, one thing I'd like to say is, with Troy Regional Hospital and with the Sarah Clinic, we're pretty fortunate in Troy, Alabama, to have the type of medical staff that we have, and I certainly would be remiss if I didn't, thank, y'all at the health department, the nurses, the doctors, the receptionists, are on the front lines, are still on the front lines every day as far as dealing with this. And a lot of us don't really understand the daily and the grind and the stress that those people went through months and months ago. And they're to be commended for what they are doing on a daily basis, and our hats are off to those people. And it's a prayerful time to be given thanks to being able to get up each day, and you are a servant for others. I mean, that's the medical field, and teachers, but the medical staff there, and the first responders, the military, they're servants. And you've been a servant for many, many years, and I'm just tickled you're sitting right there.
24, 25 years now.
And you're serving with the Boy Scouts too.
Yeah, and again, those first responders, people in the emergency room, the paramedics, your fire departments, they are doing a bang-up job, and they are seeing this, and they were getting inundated. I mean, hospitals were on diversion. The health department, Walmart, Birds were some of the first ones in our community that were actually offering the vaccines. So, they were on the ball and got it as soon as they could. I do want to put a thing in for the masks. The mask mandate is expiring, I think, this Friday. I'm still going to wear my mask. I'm encouraging everyone else to continue to wear your mask. When you're at home, when you're out of doors, I don't wear my mask. But when I go to a store, when I go to a restaurant, other than when I'm eating, I'm typically wearing my mask. And I'm going to continue to do so because these new variants that are coming out, I might be able to get infected again, and who knows what will happen next time. The statistics on this, I went back and saw the lung doctor that took care of me, and we asked her how many people go through it like I did, where they get intubated, extubated, and then go home. And she said they'll have, and this is in mid-January, end of January, and she said 1 to 2 people every 2 weeks will go home. They have 4 or 5 people dying every day, and the rest get a trachea, and they're on a breathing machine with a trach tube for months, and they may or may not go home. And so I'm one of the lucky few. I survived this, and I'm doing well, and I thank God for that. And again, thank you for all your prayers, because they were heard, and I know that, and I appreciate it more than you will ever know. So don't get this. Get vaccinated, wear your mask, good hand washing, good hygiene, protect yourself.
Well, Dr. Runyon, I want to ask you about your tie. Tell the audience about your tie here, if you will.
Oh, this is a tie I actually got in New Orleans. It's my Tabasco Avery Island tie. And I did go to Avery Island at another time on a Boy Scout trip, coming back from Cimarron, New Mexico at Philmont. And we stopped there, and I got some of their special hot sauce.
Right.
And
Avery Island is a unique place where they can grow a certain type of pepper and then make it.
The Tabasco pepper is there.
And, but this is a box that says chimney sauces. It's empty, but I'm going to give Dr. Runyon this empty box.
Empty boxes.
And Dr. Runyon, for being on our show, you get all these chimney rock.
Awesome.
Chimney jalapeno, chimney rock hot sauce, and the chimney ghost. They're compliments of chimney sauces and Ryan Daugherty. And here's this. This is for you.
Oh, thank you
put
very
that
much.
in your box. And also, Dr. Runyon, the Chicken Shack of Luverne. This is a gift certificate from the Chicken Shack of Luverne. I want to thank them, the Money Boys. And this is for Dr. Runyon. If you head over to Luverne, here's a gift certificate for you. And
well, you didn't need to do this. I was happy to come.
Well, on behalf of our entire staff, we want to thank you for coming. And
I appreciate it,
God
sir.
bless you, and thank you for coming. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back here with two local golfers. We got Braden Presswood from Charles Henson High School and Jackson Cleveland from Pike Liberal Arts. They're both freshmen, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Thank you.
This is Barney at Premier Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, and I'm here to nip this sale in the bud.
Hello, folks. This is Greg Anthony, sales manager at Premier Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Troy, Alabama, offering discounts up to $15,000.
Let's nip that.
0% financing up to 72 months.
We gotta nip that.
Barney, $5,000 over Kelly Blue Book for your trade-in.
You're killing the competition.
Barney!
If you've had an accident or just want a new look for your vehicle, come see us at Troy Paint and Body, where we do it right the first time. Our staff has more than 100 years combined experience and can handle repairs and paint work on any make or model. We also offer a lifetime guarantee as long as you own your vehicle. Now that shows we stand behind our work. And our 24-hour towing service means we're here when you need us. So come see us at Troy Paint and Body, located on South Brundage Street in Troy beside the post office. Troy Paint and Body, where we may meet by accident, but you'll be glad we did.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Take the worry out of Wi-Fi with managed Wi-Fi from Troy Cable. Say goodbye to dead zones. Automatically update outdated technology. Get the most of your signal with specialized access points. With worry-free Wi-Fi from Troy Cable, you can enjoy a full-strength signal reaching every corner of your home. Think fast. Think friendly. Think Troy Cable.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Good News and Interviews. I'm Forrest Tree Lee, and on the set with me I have Jackson Cleveland dressed in red, and to his left we have Braden Presswood from Charles Henson High School. I'd like to thank Flowers Realty, Billy, Ann, and Mr. Kevin Flowers for sponsoring this show, along with the Chicken Shack of Luverne, Dr. Runyon just received a $25 gift certificate to the Chicken Shack, Piggly Wiggly here in Troy. They're located on North 39th Street and on Highway 231. I want to thank Jennifer and Steve Garrett and State Farm Insurance, Mr. Bryant Smith, located just right down the street on South Brundage Street. And of course, Jennifer at Sticky Frogs. If you see my truck rolling around Troy, it's got my picture of what you see in the back on both sides of the truck, and it's got all my sponsors' names on the side of my truck, and I'm looking forward to filling it up. If you would like your name on there, call me and we can make a deal. But anyway, first thing I'd like to do is thank you guys for being on the show.
Yes, sir.
And we'll start with Braden, since
Yes,
you're
sir.
on the end. Braden, if you will, tell us about your family, your parents, your grandparents, your brothers,
Yes,
and all
sir.
that.
Well, my dad, Mr. Josh
Okay.
Crestwood, my mom, Miss Franny, and I got 3 brothers. One sophomore in college, I think, and I got an older brother.
What
That
are
is-
their names?
Grant Baker is the one sophomore,
Okay.
and I got an older brother that's a junior right now in high school, Noah Prestwood,
Noah
and my twin brother, Bradley.
and Bradley. Okay.
Yes, sir.
What about your grandparents? Can you give us their names?
Bud
Bud.
Prestwood, Danny,
Okay.
yes, sir, and Miss Peggy
Okay.
Prestwood,
What about on your mother's side?
Miss Diane
Okay.
Prestwood,
All right. And what school do you attend? What grade?
Charles Henderson
Charles.
High School. Yes, sir.
You're in the 9th grade.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh, Braden, other than golf, what are some of your interests? What are some of the things that you like to do other than golf?
Fish, hunt,
Fishing?
hang around,
Okay.
hang out.
Okay.
Saw that. Yes, sir.
All right. So in the golf, you had a golf tournament today,
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Where was that at, and how
Troy.
did you shoot?
I shot 77.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So as a freshman, that's a pretty good score. I know you're disappointed in the score, but
Yes, sir.
you know, what's the lowest score that you've had in a tournament, Braden?
74.
74.
Yes, sir.
What's your next tournament schedule? Do you know that?
Thursday at Troy.
In Troy.
Yes,
How
sir.
many teams will be there?
3.
3 teams?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what about next week? Do you have any next week?
Yes, I play in Elba.
You're playing Elba. What day of the week is that?
Mm,
Do you know right offhand?
nah,
Okay.
I don't.
All right, let me ask you this, Braden, and I'm going to ask you the same question, so you got a little bit of a head start. Jackson, Braden, if you will, tell the audience of the people who kind of inspired you to play golf, of who've been real helpful to you in the game of golf.
My dad
Your
and my
dad?
grandfather.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And how long have you actually been playing golf?
3 years. August will make 4.
This August
Next
will be
August will
your
make
fourth
4.
year.
Yes, sir.
And so when you're playing golf, what keeps you going? I mean, what's something that trying to
Just have fun. Just
in your day? In other words,
Competitive.
each shot you want to make that your best shot.
every
When
time.
that shot's over, good or bad, you're focused on the next shot.
Next shot. Yes, sir.
All right. What are some of your favorite golfers out there on the pro tour?
Tiger Woods, Jordan Spieth,
And who now?
Jordan Spieth.
Jordan Spieth.
Yes, sir.
All right. Who do you think? The Masters is this weekend, right, guys? What state's that located in?
Georgia,
What town?
Augusta.
Hey, that's a go. We want to be in Augusta one of these days. And we've got a lot of great golfers, you know, from the city of Brundage and here in Troy. And we've got, you know, the country club. Are y'all members of the country club here
Yes,
in
sir.
Troy? And y'all get to play the Brundage Country Club
Yes, sir.
as well. Who's your favorite to win the tournament this weekend?
Jordan Spieth.
Jordan Spieth. All right, Jackson, we'll ask you a few questions. Of course, your family. Tell us about your family, if you will.
Well, my mother is Kelly Cleveland, and my father is Jared Cleveland, and my grandparents are Delaney and Quintilla Curvin, and they live just outside of Troy.
Okay.
Sir.
You got any siblings?
Oh yes, sir. My brother Cole, he's 8. He has a baseball game tonight.
Okay.
His first one.
Does he like golf?
Not really. I think he's more of a baseball player.
Okay. Now, who's the best golfer in the family?
His grandfather.
Probably my grandfather or my uncle,
And your uncle's who?
Jeff Curvin. He works at the bank.
All right, Jeff Curvin and Delaney, of course, Delaney.
Yes, sir.
Can you beat your cousin? I'll think of-
Joel.
Joel. Can you
Yeah.
beat Joel?
Sometimes.
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 I forgot to ask you that. Have you beat your dad or your granddaddy in golf? Is that a true statement? He said yes. Okay. All right. Now, what high school do you attend?
Pike Liberal Arts.
Pike Liberal Arts. And you're in what grade?
Ninth.
The ninth. Other than golf, what are some of your other interests that you participate in at Pike Liberal Arts?
I play football and basketball, and that's about it.
Okay.
I like to fish and hunt too.
Okay. Well, have y'all played? When y'all were at the country club, do y'all get to play or together?
Yes, sir.
And,
We play a lot in the summer.
Yes, sir.
How does that go? Are y'all pretty competitive?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do y'all share the wins, or is it
Most of the time.
Okay.
It's split back and forth.
back and forth, back and forth? Now, I meant to ask y'all this earlier. What do you think is the strength of your game, Braden?
My short game.
Your short game? All right. And what about you?
It's definitely my irons. My short game is not there yet. Hopefully I can get it there someday.
So your thing that you need to work on the most is your
Short game.
Short game. What do you need to work on the most?
My putting.
Your putting. Okay. All right. So
A
when
lot.
you get home, now, folks, you can watch this on Facebook and YouTube. The replays will be on Wednesday nights between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock at night, and every Monday our show is from 7 to 8. But our replays will be on Wednesday nights from 8 to 9 o'clock. So what I want y'all to be able to do is archive this, and 15, 20 years down the road, this will be one of y'all's probably first interviews that y'all will be given as it relates to golf.
Yes, sir.
And other than golf, what are your, besides, you said hunting and fishing, do you have any other hobbies, guys, besides hunting and fishing?
Well, I used to play baseball and basketball.
Okay.
I used to play baseball too, but they were at the same time, so I had to pick one, and I chose golf.
Favorite subject in school?
None of them. Math probably.
History. I'm not a math person.
Okay. All right. Golf tournaments. Tell us about your golf tournaments. How many have you had this year?
We've had 6 or 7 so far. I'm not exactly sure. We have one tomorrow too in Auburn.
In Auburn. What's your lowest score that you've shot this year?
69 so far.
And that was here in Troy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And who's your coach, Braden?
Doug Branson.
Doug Branson?
Yes, sir.
What about you?
Gene Allen.
Gene Allen. Have y'all had golf instruction from someone outside your family or your coaches?
Yes, sir.
Who was that instructor?
Tolliver Dozier.
Tolliver
Yes.
Dozier.
Yes, sir.
Tolliver Dozier. Okay.
Tolliver.
Okay.
I've never had a lesson from anybody outside my family.
Okay. Well, there's something that's on the horizon. There's a young lady named Abby Manuel who's trying to work out a package and a deal where she can start some youth instruction at the Brundage Country Club. She's trying to make a proposal where she can present it to the board out there. So parents, if you're interested in that, stay tuned, because there's a young lady, Abby Manuel, who was a graduate of Troy University. She was on the golf team, and she's recently married to a fellow named Nick, but she's wanting to start giving golf lessons and golf instruction to youth, because for me, golf is one of those activities and sports that will last your lifetime. And I think we need more youth. With the size of our schools, we need more boys and girls, to take an interest in golf. And when they get that instruction early, then they'll catch on and make it fun. And the next thing you'll know, there'll be trophies rolling into the city of Troy, and kids getting scholarships at the junior college and collegiate level. And so is that your goals, guys?
Yes,
Is
sir.
to maybe get a collegiate scholarship and then move on to higher things and
Yes,
maybe
sir.
be on
Yes, sir.
TV one day? But, set your goals high, and I know your families are proud of you. What I'd like to ask you, Jackson, who are some people who's been inspirational to you as far as the game of golf?
Well, there's a few. It's my grandfather Delaney and my uncle Jeff and my dad Jared. Those are the 3 main people who inspired me to play golf.
Okay. Well, that's good. Well, I know y'all just got off spring break not long ago, and so whenever the school's over with and y'all start playing again, will y'all play a junior circuit this year? Is that available to y'all
Yes,
anywhere
sir.
in this part of the country?
The
In
Alabama Junior Golf Association is
Okay.
just in Alabama.
Okay, so you have to join? Or is there
No,
a
no, sir.
membership?
You they have tournaments like around just in Alabama, and you have to just register for the tournament and pay not much, maybe $25-$30, and you're in the tournament.
Okay. What type of golf ball do y'all hit?
Titleist Pro V1.
Tyler's Pro V1.
Pro V1X, Titleist Pro V1.
Okay. What number do you like?
Number 1.
You like hitting the number one? So most golf packets come in a pack of 4. 3 in a sleeve, they call it. A sleeve of 3, a sleeve of 3, a sleeve of 3, a sleeve of 3. 3 times 4 is 12 balls. So a box of balls costs what? About $40 to $50?
$45.
$45. So if you lose one of those in the water, you just lost about $4.
Yeah, something like that.
And so,
That Pro V costs $55.
oh, 55. Okay. Now, what numbers do you like playing with?
Well, I like 4 the best. I don't like, this may sound weird, but if the number isn't symmetrical, it looks kind of weird to my eye. I
Okay.
don't know if that's just me, but I like the 4 because it looks the best on the ball.
When you tee a ball up, like if you're fixing to drive, what do you like? Do you look at the ball, or do you look at the number or the name on the ball?
There's a line on the side of the ball. I face it.
Face it
Face
to
it
your
up.
direction you want to.
Yes.
Okay.
On the driver and the irons and the wedges, I just look at the ball, but when I'm putting, I like to line up the Titleist logo to the hole to try to line it up right.
But when you drive and put it on the tee, is there something that you like looking at, the logo or the number?
I like picking out like an individual few little of the dimples on the ball.
Dimples. And dimples on the ball are those little indentions, audience. About how many dimples are on the ball? I used to know that. It's about 300 and...
A lot.
Too many to count.
It's in the 300s. And have you ever had a hole-in-one?
Nope.
Who do you know, I'm going to ask you a trivia question. Who do you know that has the most hole-in-ones?
My
Who do you
grandfather.
know? How many's he had?
10.
10? 9 or 10?
9.
8 at the country club, and 1 in Florida. What about you?
It's my Uncle Jeff. He's had 3 or 4, I think. That's the most that I know
Okay.
of.
Uncle Jeff. Okay. Well, listen, we're still going to stay live here. Braden and Jackson, I want to give y'all a gift. Pass that down to Braden. This is a gift certificate to Bird's Drugs on the square in Troy. Have y'all eaten there?
Yes, sir.
Well, there's your little bit of a certificate. Is anybody in your family allergic to peanuts?
I don't think so.
Y'all like peanuts?
Yes, sir.
Well, on behalf of the Pike Farmers Co-op, we've got 2 stores, one in Goshen, Alabama, and one in Troy, Alabama. The one in Goshen is located in just past downtown Troy. Downtown Goshen, heading toward Vidette on the left. And actually, when I was about 16, I worked for the co-op in downtown Goshen, which is near the cemetery. And a story about that, there was a fellow by the name of Forrest McLeod and a Mr. Helms that were killed in a cotton gin explosion in the 1950s. Well, when I was born in 1959, Forrest McLeod was my granddaddy Lewis McLeod's brother. So Mother named me after Uncle Forrest. I worked at the co-op there under Pork Chop Thomas and Mr. Mike Jordan. And then we moved to the second co-op, which was out there. And one vivid memory I had there was Larry Thomas. We call him Hawk. That's one of Pork Chop's brother. His other brother is Russell. Anyhow, Mike Thomas died of COVID not long ago. He was also the pastor of Joaquin Church. But anyway, when Elvis Presley died, Larry was a fan of Elvis Presley, and we honored Elvis as we were moving the stores. We ran about 1 mile an hour and played Elvis music all day long. So pass that to you, Brady, down there, and here's your bag of peanuts. This is made in Hartford, Alabama. It says Hartford Farmers Co-op, but
Thank you.
that's on behalf of the Pike Farmers Co-op. A couple of other things I'd like to mention. Our guest next week will be Shear Qualls. Douglas Brothers. He owns Douglas Brothers. They've been in Troy and Pike County for 150 years. There's a mug here on the table, and he will be our guest. And he also was in the Army Reserves for quite a long time. After Shear Qualls, we'll have Miss Morgan Drinkard, who will be talking about Troy Fest. It's coming up the last Saturday of the last weekend in April here in downtown Troy. Arts and Crafts Festival, all kind of activities, live music, food, just all kind of enjoyable things to do. Then the third show will feature members of the 1659th Movement Control Team. I was a member of that group. We mobilized to Saudi Arabia in September of 1990, and I had an ankle injury, and I came back and came off active duty in December. But those guys returned to Troy around the 17th day of April 30 years ago, and they will be at Mama Goldberg's in the back room, and where we'll have a larger set, and looking forward to that show. And ladies and gentlemen, real quick, I've got another bag of peanuts here for any caller. You see the number at the bottom of the screen, 770-3352. Should have done this earlier. But if you could call and tell me the medical school that Dr. David Runyon attended, you win a bag of peanuts. Compliments of the co-op. Dr. David Runyon's medical, where he received his medical degree, call 770-3352. You got just a minute or two to call. I should have done that maybe 10 minutes ago. But anyway, guys, I hope you have a good week in school. And,
We got somebody.
Go ahead. You're on the air with good news and interviews with Forrest Tree Lee.
Hey, Forrest, how are you doing, sir?
Good. Who we got on the phone?
Yes, you got Jeff and Glenda Evans.
All right. And what is the answer?
George Washington University.
That is correct. They're calling all the way from Birmingham, Alabama. You are a winner. Winner, chicken dinner. But congratulations. Thank you for calling, Jeff. And Glenda and Jeff are proud grandparents to be. Their daughter Shelby's expecting a baby here within 3 or 4 months. And they got a son, Stephen, who is in the United States Air Force. He is a pilot instructor for the United States Air Force. And we love y'all, and thank y'all for calling, Jeff, and give my best to Miss Glenda.
Well, we love your show, Forrest. You're doing a good job.
All right, thank you. All right. See? All right, we got a winner. Jeff and Glenda Evans of Birmingham, Alabama. And anyway, but we got about another minute. Anything y'all would like to add, or have y'all had supper?
Not yet.
Where are you planning on going?
I already ate.
Oh, you already?
Yes,
What'd you
sir.
have?
Rodeo.
Rodeo. What about
Yes,
you?
sir.
Nothing yet. I'm not sure though.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we got several people in our community who need prayers, and of course, we want everybody to live each day to the fullest. Give our Lord thanks every day. Be kind to your neighbors. Thank your parents for what they do and your loved ones on a daily basis. Write your parents a note and just leave it somewhere where they can find it. Be a gentleman in school. Treat others like you would want your brother treated, or like you would like your daughter treated if you had a daughter, and just live each day to the fullest. And we hope you've enjoyed this show, and I'm so thankful for our sponsors and for Troy Cablevision, Steve Camp, Dustin Gilley, and all those. And you can watch this replay on Wednesday night from 8 until 9. Call your friends. You can look it up on Facebook. You can find it on YouTube. And again, thank you for joining us on Good News and Interviews. Thank you, Braden.
Yes, sir.
And Jacksonville.
Thank you for having us.
And y'all have a great day, and we'll see you next week on Good News and Interviews with Forrest Tree Lee.
Yes, sir.
This is Barney at Premier Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, and I'm here to nip this sale in the bud.
Hello, folks. This is Greg Anthony, sales manager at Premier Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Troy, Alabama, offering discounts up to $15,000.
Let's nip that.
0% financing up to 72 months.
We gotta nip that.
Barney, $5,000 over Kelly Blue Book for your trade-in.
You're killing the competition.
Barney!
If you've had an accident or just want a new look for your vehicle, come see us at Troy Paint and Body, where we do it right the first time. Our staff has more than 100 years combined experience and can handle repairs and paint work on any make or model. We also offer a lifetime guarantee as long as you own your vehicle. Now that shows we stand behind our work. And our 24-hour towing service means we're here when you need us. So come see us at Troy Paint and Body, located on South Brundage Street in Troy beside the post office. Troy Paint and Body, where we may meet by accident, but you'll be glad we did.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Take the worry out of Wi-Fi with managed Wi-Fi from Troy Cable. Say goodbye to dead zones. Automatically update outdated technology. Get the most of your signal with specialized access points. With worry-free Wi-Fi from